Hi everyone, as promised, I'm just going to give you a little mini tutorial on how I created the table and the two little chairs. So first of all, let's just run through some products you're going to need. So these are the wooden dowels. I did link this in our little Facebook page a while ago. I think there's like a pack of 50. I would suggest using these dowels. They're a lot thicker. It's going to support your table and your chair legs a lot more rather than using your little thinner, skewers. To build the chairs, we do need some larger lollipop sticks. So just grab a couple of those for now. This bottom piece here, obviously because it was like a key box, I can't really explain it, but it had like a wooden slat along the front, and then the middle section, which is this section here, obviously supported either side. So you will have a couple, once you've pulled it off, a couple of little pins just to pull out the back. So this is what we use for the table. So there's no trimming with that at all. If you are putting, depending on what tablecloth you have chosen, you will just need just to align your table, just so you've got a rough square going all the way around. Now, obviously I bought this from Boys. It's just gingham fabric. You can use felts, any other, bits of fabric that you've got. You'll also need some wire cutters. If you've got these, this is what I originally cut the dowels with. I know we was laughing along the way because a lot of people have been trying to hack them with scissors. You need something a little bit stronger to trim. Now, the lovely Jennifer also suggested using dog nail clippers. So I'm going to use these today and give these a go. We did test it out on live yesterday, depending on when this video goes out. So it was Monday's live and they worked absolutely perfect. So thank you, Jennifer, for suggesting this. So you will need some snips just to cut off your little dowels. You're also going to need some scissors as well to cut your larger sticks. And you need to plug in your glue gun. So we will be working on the tabletop and legs first. That way, if you are slightly off with your measurements, I will sort of give you the measurements of your dowels to cut. If you build your chairs first, they might be far too high for your table. So we're going to concentrate on this table first. Now, I did put 2 dowels to the front of mine and then 1 just in the centre at the back. I really didn't need that leg at the back. However, I wasn't quite sure how my table was going to be supported once I'd glued it in. Because this wood is really thick, once we get everything into place, you can then run your glue gun along the back and then push that into your design, and then these 2 feet will help stabilise your table to the front. So it's completely up to you whether you just want to put 2 legs on your table or 3, just like I have, or you can even go 4. So I'll show you the 3 method, which is one that I have done. But like I say, you can centralise your little legs on your table, if you want in that extra 2 legs to the back. For the table legs, you will need to measure 1 inch with your ruler. Just mark it with a pen. You can trim them off with your little nail scissors or your snips. So like I said, I'm only working on 3 legs. You might want to do 4. And then just make sure that this part where you've pulled the pins out, you'll see where the glue is. Just keep that to the back. It's just in case, when you put your tablecloth on, it doesn't sit sort of like quite flat. You can obviously use some sandpaper if needed. So that is my back piece. Keeping it square, we are now going to take our glue gun, run it along the bottom of the dowel, and then we're going to attach our little leg round about here. I have now glued in my first table leg. So don't worry if you've got a really big blob of glue underneath, you do not see this. You just need to make sure that your dowel is really secure on your wood. If it's in place and it's still a little bit wobbly, just run some more glue around the back part of your stick. So there's no right or wrong place really to put these little uprights. As long as you keep it away from this edge, you don't want your sort of like sticks too far in. So I think this is around, let me just measure it, from the edge to the middle of the dowel is about 1.5 centimetres. Going this way to the middle, again, is about 1.5 centimetres. So you can now make a little mark, so 1.5 centimetres in, and then flip it this way, 1.5 centimetres in. You might have gone, you know, slightly further in than me. So that is where I need my next one. And then again, blob a glue gun at the bottom. Align that over your little mark, just so, you know, both your little feet are in line. So you should now have something that looks like this. I couldn't get my words out on the last clip. I'm giggling about that already. And then again, if you want in 4 feet, you're going to take it 1.5 centimetres by 1.5 centimetres. And then again on this side. However, I'm just going to aim for the middle for this. Again, just taking it in 1.5 centimetres. So let me just mark that, just roughly. Over here. And then just aim for the middle. 3. Yeah, it's about in the middle. Now, what I did want to show you is, if you have cut this with your snips, you might find that it's not quite flat. If it's, you know, still a little bit off shape, just take a little craft knife. It's not too bad, but, you know, just in case. It's a lot easier to slice once you've trimmed it down to size. And just take off the bottom piece. It's only going to be sort of like a little slither, but it just keeps everything flat and helps you obviously glue your table in square. You can also run this backwards and forwards on a little nail file. Let me just trim a little bit more of that. Or on some sandpaper. So I'm going to show you this one. So let me take my glue gun, just to show you how much you're going to need. Just run your glue gun right the way around. Place that over your little pen mark, keeping it on a flat surface. And then make sure, as it's drying, that it's actually upright and straight. Again, it will go white like this when everything is set. If it's, again, wobbly, just run your glue gun just along the back piece. So all 3 legs are now in place. You should be able to pop your table upright and it be stable like this. So before you add the tablecloth, now is the time to paint your legs. This is the colour that I went for, which is mocha. Any sort of like wood effect will be absolutely fine for this. If you don't have a really dark brown, just take some lighter brown, mix a little bit of black acrylic paint as well, just to give you a bit of a darker colour. So as always, I'm just going to screw off the top, take a paintbrush. Again, you don't see the underside of the table, so you don't have to be, you know, really neat with it. You don't have to paint the bottom part either, because obviously that gets glued in. So just paint all 3 sticks, or 4 if you've done 4. do this little bit. Then I'm going to pause the video and let everything dry. Make sure you're covering front and back. All 3 legs or 4 legs, and let that dry. Once your paint is dry, we are now going to attach our tablecloth. Now, if you don't have any of the darker brown, and you have done your own mixture by using your lighter brown and your black, you will need to mix up, you know, quite a bit, because you do want your chairs and your chair legs matching your table. So just bear that in mind if you are mixing your own colour. The tablecloth we did discuss at the beginning of the video. This is gingham. You can use felt, any other fabric that you have. So the square you need to cut, once you get your table into place, you just need to give yourself a lip all the way around, which is around 1 centimetre. That way, once we glue this into place and flip it down, you've still got like a little bit of a frill on the edge of your table. Once you have squared up your tablecloth, I've just unplugged my very sparkly glue gun. It's full of paint. We're going to take the glue gun, keeping it on a flat surface, along that edge here. And then you're going to pull this tablecloth up, run your fingers along your glue. Again, don't be tempted to pick this up to glue it on. What will happen is your tablecloth might sort of like go offline, or out of line, should we say. Just bring that up there. Which means once you get to one side, you're going to have a shorter piece. So once that's in place, flip it this way. And then again, using your glue gun, work along the edge. Pop your finger in the middle of your table. And then roll up the glue, running your finger along, and then we're just working on all 4 sides. So glue gun, lifting it up. This fabric does fray slightly, but I do like the sort of like frill effect it gives, which I'm going to show you once I've glued this in. So along here, and then your last piece, you're just going to fold it up. Don't worry so much about the corners. And then that way you've attached your tablecloth, keeping everything really flat to the top. Thought I hit record, I didn't, and I've already done it, but I just want to explain, if your sort of like points of your cloth is coming out far too much, just run your scissors up. You know, you don't have to be, again, really neat with it, just adds to the effect. So just go around. So can you see this little edge here, just with your scissors, and just trim off where you need. You know, you might get a little gap like this. You can use your tacky glue inside with a cocktail stick and squeeze it together. To be fair, I do like the way it just sort of folds over, so I did want to cover that, but I haven't done it on the previous one. Now, I did say about this fabric fraying, so you can sort of like take little bits and pieces if needed, you know, and just keep pulling those off. There isn't really any on this one. There was more on the previous one, if I'm honest. But, you know, you can take a little cocktail stick or a little pin and just keep pulling it down. That way you'll just get a little bit of a frill on the edge. Again, depending on what sort of fabric you have used, you can run around with the lighter just to burn the edges and seal those. Would I suggest it? Not really. Only because, you know, if you get too much of a bigger flame on your lighter, you're going to get black marks. You need to be really quick, like instantly, to seal the edges. So I'm going to leave that up to you. Our little table is now complete. So we're now going to build some little chairs to match our little back piece of your chair. You will just need to trim off the rounded edge. Again, squeeze it between thumb and finger and just trim off the little circle to the top. You are then going to measure from your top piece with a ruler, and you're going to mark 3 centimeters with a pen. You will then need to do exactly the same from this point, 3 centimeters, and then again use your scissors and trim off your 2 sticks. This is now given the back pieces. So next we're going to do the seat. So again, just trim off your little stick. This time round we're not doing 3 centimeters because our little chair seat is going to be a lot longer. So this time round we are going for 2 centimeters. So again, taking your ruler, measuring it from your top piece, and again we want 2 pieces, so we've got 2 and 4, gripping it again, snipping it on your line, so you should now have 2 pieces 3 centimeters and 2 pieces 2 centimeters. You now need to attach all 4 pieces together. So taking your 3 centimeter pieces, we're going to run our glue gun along this edge here. So let me just do that really quick. And now taking your other piece, pop it at an angle, if I couldn't get my words out, and then push that down. That way you don't get any glue overspill to the front and it will stay to the back. You can obviously use your wood glue for this, you know, your sort of like tacky glue, glue gun, super glue. And you will get some overspill to the back. You do not see the back of the chair. Well, even if you do and you've put it in a different position, once you get this painted, it all gets covered anyway, so don't be too hard on yourself with your gluing. Just going to peel that back, just take off that little edge. So these 2 are now attached, and we're going to do exactly the same method with the smaller piece, which is the seat. So again, running your glue gun along the edge, taking your next piece, popping it at an angle, and then flipping that down, giving it a bit of a squeeze. Now can you see this part here is not quite met here? Do not panic, just trim it off. So give it a bit of a squeeze, take your scissors and just run along that edge. Now have a back and a seat. Now you will see it is very wide. So just taking your scissors, you're literally just going to cut up. Again, there's no right or wrong way for this. Just trim up. It's so much easier to cut them this way. Just going to take off a mil on either side, and then again with your seat you're just going to do exactly the same. I did try use smaller lollipop sticks, however 3 didn't quite hit together, shall we say, and 2 was too small. So the aim is just to get this sort of like seat part just behind your little guides. So mine is still a little bit long. So again, just take your time, trimming it off. A little bit more to do. Less is more with things like this. You don't want to go over and then regret cutting it too short. But slicing upright of your sticks is a lot easier than going across. So the aim now is to get your seat in place. Can you see it looks a lot more of a chair shape than it being far too wide? So let me just take my ruler just to show you a rough guide. So I am just under 3 centimetres. We've already measured this section, but just in case you've had to trim it off, it's about 3 centimetres. And then the seating is again just short of 3 centimetres by 2 centimetres. So I've only just sort of snipped, you know, tiny bits off. Like say, if you don't, your chair might look a little bit fat, should we say. Just going to take that edge off because it's not very straight. So we are now going to attach the back and the seat, running our glue gun along the seat area here. So let me just do that. Taking the back piece of your chair, holding it like this, we're just going to align this to this little bottom section here. So just give yourself a little bit of a lip. What you don't want to be doing is trying to attach this right to this edge. You can now measure up your little chair to pop in your 4 little legs to your table. So we don't want our feet too high. I'm going to measure these anyway for you. I think we went 1 inch for what I remember. So we obviously need to go a little bit smaller than the table. So it might be worth working in centimetres for this. So we're going to cut 4 dowels, this time at 1.5 centimetres. So it's the same dowels we use for the table legs, and we need 4 of these. So measure 1.5 centimetres 4 times and then trim these off. Just trim these down again, just like previously discussed. If you've got sort of like little pointy bits and pieces, just take your craft knife and just slice those down just to make it flat. And again, you can use your sandpaper or nail file, whatever you find easiest. So we are now going to flip our little seating area upside down, and then we're just going to use our glue gun on all 4 dowels. We're going to place these in 4 sections. Again, you can measure it just like we did the table. However, I do find it easier eyeballing these just to get everything straight. All 4 dowels are now in place. So I'm not going to paint this. However, I will discuss the paint. Just bring that table in so you just can see the size. So mocha all over, which is what I've done for the table legs. However, like we said previously, you might have your own little mixture. Once that is all dry, You can then go ahead with a lighter shade of brown. This is just a standard brown. And just sort of like run your brush backwards and forwards over your seat. I'll just bring you up. That will give you a two-tone effect on your chairs. You really don't have to do it, but I just want to cover that as well. And then lastly, I just want to show you how you can glue these into place. So glue gun at the back of your table, blob of glue. You can do it on all three legs or just two. Of your super glue or tacky glue. Avoid your glue gun with this bottom piece. You don't want it spilling out onto your floor section. Once that is in place, you can then push this to your back wall and then just put some pressure on for your feet just to catch the bottom part of your print. And you can use exactly the same glue and method on all four chair legs, tacky glue or your super glue. So get your table in first. Decide where you want your chair, and then again just pop that into place. Just pop a little bit of pressure on, and then we are done. So that's how you glue them in. That's how you build the little mini table and chairs. I really hoped it helped. See you soon.